This one is a bit personal, so I need to take a sit. Growing up, I was convinced that I was not a creative person at all. In fact, I thought I was complete opposite of that. I don't even know what can qualify for that description. Logical, radical, not radical, rational. So I never really paid attention to any of those creative things. I always thought that singing, dancing, drawing, all those things were for people who were born with a natural talent. In my mind, you had to be born with a talent to qualify for creativity, basically. Kids that I grew up with, they were just doing so many different things. Like, for example, if they sang, maybe they weren't like the most amazing singers, but here vocal lesson and there vocal lesson, and they can definitely hit those Whitney Houston notes. And I feel like if you understand, you understand. They were kids that you can see something was in them. I tried to convince myself that those kids were just outliers. There's only few of them out there, and they just happen to be around me. But me trying to convince myself didn't really work. I still kept thinking about stuff like this. And I remember there was this one memory in my brain just being stamped. I don't know what year it was, maybe 2011 or 12. There's this show, Kids' Choice Awards. It was presented at Nickelodeon channel. This show is pretty much an award show that is presented by kids at Nickelodeon channel, and I was obsessed with shows on Nickelodeon channel. So when I saw all of my favorite actors and singers and performance on one stage, I was like, wow, like these people are way different than what they are on screen. Like, I was shocked by the amount of talent that these people had. And the worst part is that they were my age, so I was also extremely jealous. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Because while I'm doing my math homework, my geometry homework, my whatever homework, they are being on stage, they are performing, they're doing an amazing work, acting in shows and showing and doing an amazing job at performing and portraying a certain character on a TV show in front of a bunch of people. It took me a while to admit that I was jealous. I was just jealous, even though I was very impressed by them. The feeling that could only be described is jealousy. And I started blaming my parents that maybe they didn't see anything in me or they didn't encourage me to do something. But I do now realize that if I had a passion or if I had a calling, that I would have shown it and I would have done it without anything, and I would have just naturally pursued it. So it was really not fair for me, being a teenager, blaming someone else for just me not having a talent, basically. As the years went by, I grew up. I had a life, I had a career, I had to pursue educational things, and those things took a lot of my time. In fact, they took all of my time. I pretty much had no time to sleep, and some of you guys witnessed those moments where I studied, I worked, I just did a lot of different things. So I never really had time to sit and explore myself and dig into those insecurities. But I now realize that I still had different outlets, creative outlets. I definitely had moments where I thought maybe I could be creative, or maybe I am a creative person, and I think I always was, just maybe in not traditional way, or maybe in a way of a lower degree than someone else. But I think that I was, and I feel like that I still am, because I had so many creative outlets that I just never realized they were creative outlets. My creativity was just released in unconventional, small, weird ways. For example, I was doing all of the chemical reactions at home rather than just doing it on paper, because it was just much funner. Or for example, I was experimenting with clothes all the time because I found them boring, or I found them being just too common, too proper, too whatever. And I was like, okay, let me change this, let me tweak this, let me add this, let me cut this. Or when I was doing random paintings, just out of nowhere, because I felt some sort of way and I wanted to release my emotions in the moment. Or when I started doing this board, collecting tags from different clothing items just to see how much of a consumer I might be at the end of the year. And I don't want to show this board, but if you guys want to see it, just let me know. Or when I came up with a bunch of nicknames for all of my cousins and my siblings, and I probably came up with over 500 nicknames for all of them. And even if they hated those nicknames, they admitted that they were creative, they were fun in some sort of way or form or shape. Anyways, I can go on for forever and ever, but what I'm trying to say is I did have creative outlets. They were just weird, maybe small and talentless, but nonetheless they were there. Those may not be the most creative things on earth, but they were to me, because who even decides what is creativity? What never crossed my mind was that talent doesn't necessarily equate to creativity. And when I realized that, or when I believed in that, things were just much easier for me to comprehend and understand. I no longer felt this pressure on my shoulders, or like this jealousy, I assume, because I thought it was society who put these expectations on me, but it really wasn't anyone but myself. Like, me constantly comparing myself to other creative people was the biggest problem. People are right, comparison is the thief of joy, and it robbed me to the core. Like, in my head, there were these people that I admired, the other creative people that I just liked in general, and I could see that they focused on one thing, on one skill, and then they perfected it, and then they improved it, and then they grew, and then they connected with other people, and then they grew together, making it even better. And I could not do it to save my life. I focused on different small things here and there. And when it didn't work out, I was getting frustrated, I was getting annoyed, and I jumped to another thing. And I was doing that for a little bit, and nothing was working out. So I thought, okay, then this is not for me, then I'm jumping to another thing. And I'm jumping to another thing. Like, I'm doing different things at the same time for a short amount of time. And after a few failures, I'm just giving up. And that led to frustration, that led to me being annoyed, and the circle just continued and continued and continued, and I was just being in a very, like, dark place. I know internet hates the phrase dark place, but if that's what people say it is, maybe I was there. I don't know, I didn't say anyone else but me there. But now I am free to do whatever I want to do. I can express myself through so many things, like clothes, or like different hobbies, or even these videos. To be completely honest, this channel was my creative outlet for past few years, and that's what I realized recently. And I was posting these videos with no bad or good intention. I just posted them. I posted them because I liked it. I posted it because I liked the process. I posted it because I felt like it. I never really thought about it that deeply, so I posted whatever I wanted to post. I need a snack. Life has taught me that creativity is not a specific mold or shape. You don't have to fit in it. As long as you are there, it's there. I need some lights. Oops. Damn. If being a talentless person so far, because what if there is something? Anyways, that's a topic for a different conversation. If it taught me something, is that creativity is about expressing your true self. It's about finding joy at whatever you do. And most importantly, it's about not losing yourself in the process. It is such a multifaceted, yet a simple thing. And it really depends on what angle you're looking at it. I was thinking about this recently, and I find that creativity is exactly like eating a banana. You can eat it from the top, you can eat it from the bottom, you can dice it, you can slice it, you can bake it, you can fry it, but at the end of the day, one thing for sure is you're gonna enjoy eating that damn banana. I really needed this session. So thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.